what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Keeping It Grimy podcast, where I travel around and link up with some of my mates in the grime scene, and we have a chat about stuff. Oftentimes it's about music, but a lot of the times it isn't as well. Just having a chat and capturing some of it. And today we are in the Major Music recording studio, and I'm here with the man himself, SHARKY Major. What's going on, sir?
Yes, my bro. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Yeah. First time I've been down to the studio. So yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for finding the time. I know you're a very, very busy man.
Yeah, so are you though.
I've got to be these days, ain't you? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man. If you're not busy, then
we'll get into that because the business, it is the busyness.
Absolutely.
So, what most people will know you for, obviously, is the branding that is all over your body at the moment. Successfully launching a new event, Grime Originals. That's what most people will know you for in 2019. Let's just jump straight into that. Like, why did you want to start a rave after all the people that have tried and failed and got out of it? What craziness came upon you and made you want to start?
Yeah, I think at the time I was just looking at the game and I was thinking, there's not really much like events going on that remind me of what made us want to do this and what made us grow this thing. Do you know what I mean? And helped us to grow the thing. So it was a bit odd because when I sat back and looked, I thought, hold on. So when there's a grime event, what is it? Just got to be one man or two man on the lineup, or is it a thing where it's just performing PAs and songs? Like, what about when the DJ just played the tune, the man sprayed the bars, and the crowd went crazy? So that was my first thoughts, and where obviously, like, where I'm from and the MCs and people that I came up around, when I thought of the idea, it was quite easy to speak to people who were similar to me or from that era to start with. And obviously the new generation guys that were active at the time always would be on anything if you shout them and say, yo, do you want to get involved? So
yeah, because opportunities were scarce, are scarce.
Absolutely, they still are, for real. So, you know, combined, it was sick because we had the original old school, new old generation, whatever you want to call them, the vets, the legends, the greats, whatever you want to call them, foundation. Then you had the fresh new guys coming through. And then in between that, we've got now people, the gap's been filled as well, because you've got like the mid-gen, if you want to call it that.
The mid-gen.
I know, the mid-gen. So, you know, like people like Jams and your Capo Lees.
Yeah, the guys that have just been maintaining, I guess. They've just been there grafting, maintaining the last few years. So.
You know what I mean? And we've got more people that still haven't even featured in Grime Originals that really I'd like to get involved real soon, or I feel like should have already been involved. It's difficult when you've got venues trying to make you cut down your lineups because they're scared about having all these people on stage.
So that's an interesting angle. Let's talk about that. Like, obviously, one of the reasons why there were so few events is because there were a lot of venues closing. And as a man that was around in like 2001, 2002, you dealt with firsthand that whole shift in, you know, garage being slightly pushed out of them kind of venues, or certain types of garage raves being pushed out of them venues. And yeah, it just became harder and harder to get a grime event on. Like, it's like you say the word grime and it's just stress for everybody.
And I felt like it was unjust as well. Obviously, I know when, you know, the early days, it was maybe a little more trouble happening at events, but over time, you know, the growth of the brand, of the music, the scene and the awareness, and obviously people just becoming a bit more aware that you're not meant to go out and be troublesome. Do you know what I mean? You're meant to go out and have fun. So, you know, over time, I think it took a long time for people to realize that actually there isn't no trouble at the grime raves or events. But yeah, for a minute we were in trouble. Couldn't put on no events, everything getting locked off. You mentioned grime to a venue and they don't want to support it. Do you know what I mean? But then obviously a lot of people went on to do big things, which I think definitely opened doors and raised awareness and made people.
So what's it like in 2019 when you try and speak to a venue? Like, what's that discussion like?
It's still not easy. Obviously, some people understand it, respect it, rate it, and some people don't care or understand it and don't rate it. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit of both. But the good thing is now we've got the CV, the track record to show and prove that A, we're holding big events, like grossing over 1,000 people at events, and no trouble at none of the events. You know, it's been going like 2 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, or even over 2 years. March 2017 was the first ever Grime Originals events at Birthdays, Dalston. 200 people, less than
that's
that.
not there anymore now.
I know, it's shut down as well.
Like what is that, like a bar thing now?
Yeah, they changed the name now. So still a bar, it's just that they're not hiring it out
on music. They're not on music. Well, they were doing internal promotion anyway, weren't they? For
they were doing a lot of their own things, but they used to let. That was almost like my playground at one point. Like, I put on events there virtually all the time, and that's where I grew Grime Originals. First event was like half empty rave, probably about 100 man. Do you know what I mean?
And like 80 of them are probably like people that you knew.
Yeah, it was one of them ones that just started off as industry people.
But that's what you got to do. That's like how anything starts.
True, man. Do you know what I mean? And the good
thing is, you got to eat shit at the start. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And even now, 2 years in, I could say the business still technically owes me money as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So some people might look at it like, oh, Grime Originals is doing this, is doing that. But when you start up a business, you have to be prepared to lose money for the first few years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Some people could get it right straight away and hit the ground running. And technically, Grime Originals hit the ground running in terms of its growth and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And the potential is still
Did you have a business model, like a plan when you first started, or did you just want to put events on? Because that's the thing, like, you're not a promoter coming into this thinking, oh, I can nick a couple of quid here. Like, these kids aren't putting on events. You're a MC. Yeah. You're a foundation MC that's been part of the birth of grime.
Yeah,
you're there at the very start. So like you're coming to this from a different angle. Like you're caring about there not being events. Like so.
That's the thing. Like I've put money into my pocket to put on events and try and
put your hand in your pocket. Taking money out of it.
You know what I'm trying to say, man.
I just want to clarify.
Let's get it right. Listen, it's late right now. We're recording late. It's Logan Sama late special. But yeah, basically, in a nutshell, yeah, man, I put my hand in my pocket to fund this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And to grow it. And it's never been, I need to make money out of it. You know what I mean? Like, I've been doing my thing without really relying on music or income. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So for me to invest in it, hopefully some people recognize that it's not for me just trying to make dough. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so and that's it.
Well, you moved from Birthdays into Fire, and Fire was then the home, Grime Originals, for a while. And then literally just the other week, we did the first Grime Originals, was part of that lineup in Fabric, and it was amazing to have like a proper grime lineup in Fabric again, because that hasn't really been a thing for about a year now.
Yeah, man. Again, like I feel like Grime Originals keeps making history in its own way. Every time people feel like you're not gonna get to feel or experience certain things again, Grime Originals comes true and makes you experience that again. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you think Fabric, like you said, you haven't had a grime event like that in there for a while. You might have thought you were not gonna get to see that again. Like when I spoke to someone the other day, they was like, "Oh yeah, they do drum and bass in there, don't they?" I was like, "Yeah, but we got grime there today." Do you know what I mean? And they was like, "Oh, sick! I'm gonna get down there."
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that's the difference. Like Grime Originals, the sets that we've had, I don't think any event or rave can really say they've had that kind of or event or like lineup on the set. For example, when you've got a Skepta and a Gets on the same set and Jammer like on the same set in a rave. Do you know what I mean? You don't get them sort of things.
It's very rare. It's very rare. I mean, and that's goodwill, because you just can't book. You just can't book that set. Like you actually can't book that set. That set has to just happen.
Yeah, and that did happen organically. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, like some men I know are coming as special guests. Some people might just turn up and I'm hearing, yeah, so and so's outside. Yeah, let them through. Boom, boom, boom. Do you know what I mean? But either way, the support and the love from the scene and some of the recognised greats in the game has been phenomenal. You know, you had Wiley just turn up. Wiley's outside. Wiley's here. Wiley turned up early at one of the fire ones. Just came to enjoy himself. You know what I mean? And then obviously touched mic, but he was just there like enjoying himself. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing. It's not just people coming to touch mic and leave the rave. They're coming to catch vibes and meet up with people they ain't seen for a while, or catch up, and yeah, man, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. Wiley's birthday bash was a mad thing in a sense where I was thinking what we're gonna do next for the Grime Originals events. Wiley messaged me saying that he wants to do a Grime Originals with man. And then
so how do you feel about that? Because let's be real, you think Wiley and you think of Eskimo Dance, and obviously that's established, that's there. He's done events. He just did an Eskimo Dance at Watford, you know, a couple months back.
Yeah.
So when he's hitting you up like, I want to do a Grime Originals, and he's tweeting, you know, you won't see me at Eskimo Dance, only see me at Grime Originals. He's pulled out of doing a Australia show.
Yeah.
Like, what are you thinking about this?
Well, if we go back before that, he was showing support at Grime Originals events. Like,
he was
coming to certain events at Fire. I think it turned up to about 2 already before, or possibly even 3 actually, off the top of my head. 2 or 3, but I know he definitely had been there at least twice. And yeah, man, it was like by the time, and at that point he was already tweeting and saying Grime Originals is sick and Grime Originals is a new thing and all of that sort of stuff. So by the time we got round to him wanting to do our the birthday bash with us, at that point I think the Australia thing had already been cancelled.
Yeah, it had been. Yeah.
You know, and obviously I got respect for Eskimo Dance. Obviously I performed at the first ever one. I've always wanted it to do well. Obviously, I think the direction changed a little while, and I think Grime Originals helped to steer it back into the right direction.
We are definitely going to talk about the effect that, you know, having more than one brand in the game has had. But carry on,
man, because I feel like
carry on talking.
You know, and it could
this.
just be coincidental, possibly, but a lot of people have come up to me and said, "Oh, have you noticed how Eskimo Dance has gone back to doing a lot of the original style of lineup?" And I said, "That's good, and that's what we wanted." Do you understand? Because doing things like Grime Originals, I don't want me to be the only guy doing stuff like that. I want us all to be doing that. And I want the scene to be based, well, not purely on that, but the event side of things needs to have that element and aspect again. And it is there now.
I think if people from the outside see like more than one thing successful, it becomes a scene. Do you know what I mean? Like you need that to be a scene. It's like when one guy is popping off, one guy is selling records, that's not a scene.
Yeah, exactly. It's a one
guy.
Yeah.
When one night and then you have to wait 3 months for the next night to come round, and like, yeah, we're all back. We're all doing 9 to 5s, bro. Exactly. We're all back into 9 to 5s, just waiting for that. When's the next Grime Originals? When's the next Eskimo Dance coming around? You need more of that.
Absolutely.
So I 100% agree, man. Like,
it's a good thing now as well. We're seeing that because, like, and I've seen you talking about it online as well, and things like we need more events. Don't necessarily have to be a big Grime Originals or whatever, 1,000 people plus, intimate events and smaller venues. And I have to give credit as well because Frisco tweeted me as like, yeah, the Den's been doing that, and they have, and the Den went South by Southwest. Yep. You've got the guys at Mode FM doing their events as well, which like again do different things. We've got the Next Legacy as well that's going on, and you've definitely not just got Grime Originals as well. Yeah, like, for real. You've been helping artists do shows. I know you helped Manga do a bunch of his shows. Obviously, you got the artists that are on Major Music as well, which we'll talk about, the label and that sort of thing as well. So, yeah, man, busy all the time. Trust me. All whilst actually working as well. Yeah, man, I got the day job. I've been doing that for, like, the last 13 years. Yeah. So, like, I'm in the property game in the day life. But obviously multitasking as well, because I am replying to emails and setting up things. And that's why you think 9 o'clock's late as well. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, for real. What's the time? Oh, just after 9 as well. Yeah. See, feels late because the man's been up since 6 this morning. But yeah, it's peak like that. Just grafting away. Everyone says a shark. I don't even know how you do what you're doing. Like, I got some people concerned as well, saying, well, you're doing too much. You need to rest. But right now, there's a mission in it. I got to go out and accomplish certain things, you know, in life. Not everyone gets things easily. Do you know what I mean? The majority of us have to work hard for it. Obviously, there are some people that might land on their feet, but majority of us have to work hard and smart for it as well. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you're running the label as well at the same time as doing everything else. Is the label just
it seems like you look at the scene and like from a not only a business standpoint but as an artist, creative standpoint, and kind of just want to get involved and make things happen.
Yeah, I think that's
So
a good analysis.
yeah, like it doesn't it seems like you're like looking at where you can use your skill set and help people. Is how it looks
man,
to me.
and that's what I've been about from day, I think. And over the years, not everybody's known really what I do behind the scenes or what influence I've had. But even if we go back all the way to like Nasty Crew days,
I definitely want to go back there.
yeah, man. Then like,
Tell me.
you know, me
Give
and
me the
Marcus and Stormin set up R.I.P. my brother Stormin. Me, Marcus and Stormin set up Nasty Crew, and the growth required recruiting people and working with people and working together and building something. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I was definitely influential in you know, people like DWE or Kano and people getting involved in Grime Originals. In Nasty Crew. And you know, people like Getz was my guy, like from In the Ends was my brethren. Do you know what I mean? And even without music, we were rolling on road before everything started popping off. Then he went Joe. Nasty Crew started getting big, and when he come on road, obviously he's looking at
All
me and
set up,
Stormin.
ready.
We're all here, innit? Like Marcus, like we're all here. So it was a thing where, yeah, I'm definitely gonna get involved with them, man.
But you're mad young when this is happening as well. Like you're talking about, you're setting all this up, but you're like 16, 17.
Yeah,
like Nasty Crew.
Yeah, like 15. I think I first started spitting and got on radio from like age 15.
The first time I ever saw you MC was, I'm trying to remember. Stormin was 100% there. I think it was Stormin and you, and I think Armour.
Was it in Romford?
It was in EQs.
EQ, okay.
If you remember, like the week after Heartless and Pay As You Go clashed at Destiny's in Watford, they were meant to clash again.
Yeah.
And it was meant to be at EQs.
Right, okay.
But it moved. It was venue Ilford.
Okay, yes, venue.
The rave moved last minute.
Yeah.
It was someone's birthday bash. Like I want to say like Slim Ting or something like that.
I think it might have been Slim Tings, you know.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say Slim Ting as well. I think it might have been a Slim Ting birthday bash.
And I remember I went down there to see. Obviously, I thought I'm gonna get the run back of the ting, and it never happened. But I got Nasty Crew on the lineup, sort of before Pay As You Go.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever saw these guys spit, and you know, playing all these crazy beats and these new young MCs that I'd never heard before with the bare energy and passion.
Yeah,
Venom
mad.
as well. It was
Mad.
I remember it really clearly, man.
It's mad as well because until you said it, I couldn't even remember that night until you said it. Now it's come. I can actually remember that rave. It was mad. Venue.
Was Marcus DJing?
Marcus was DJing.
Yes.
I think even So Solid was on the lineup as well that night. It was a sick rave, and yeah, man. We started from young, age 15, 16. Marcus was a bit older than us, a few years, like about 4 or 5 years older than us. You know what I mean? So we'd look up to Marcus as like the older. Me and Stormin were like the youngers, but we were the ones with the bars. He had the beats and the connections and had the link to the radio and certain things that us man didn't know or have at the time. Do you know what I mean?
Because there was a really strong ecosystem there. Like you had Deja. Deja wasn't even on 923 them times. What was Deja on? It was on before.
No, 923. Yeah, before there was the last thing Deja ended up at as 924. It was 923 before that, but I think they had one other dial.
Yeah, it was one before that.
Yeah.
Like, because I used to listen to Randy C on there.
Yeah.
Pressure and 2 Ton and them, man.
It's mad. But we started on Flavor, innit? Then we went to Deja.
Yes.
But yeah, man, that them times are mad. But my thing is,
were you guys ever in a crew before Nasty Crew? Like, were you in one before Nasty Crew?
No.
Because there was MAD.
Yeah.
Like, Nasty Crew sort of absorbed a few teams.
Yeah, little collectives, innit? It's mad because, like, when I went to the same school as DWE.
Yeah.
So, like, but he's like 4 years older than me. Do you know what I mean? So I was a younger in school. And by the time I was like 15 and had bars now and I'm in the playground and all of that, Double had left school.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, if you're age 15 in school, you're probably in the 4th or 5th year now, innit? So Double had left, but I used to see him like outside near the school on roads, like in Forest Gate, because I went to school in Forest Gate, and I used to be like, yeah, you're that MC, innit? Like, yeah, man, I've heard about you, whatever. A couple man would tell me about it. And these times he was doing a bit of like, not grime, but spitting on B-sides of garage tunes or whatever.
Grime wasn't.
Yeah, we didn't have the name.
Yeah, it was underground garage.
Yeah, basically just the dark version of garage. But he
find a dub mix of that tune, couple of D&Ds and Zincs and Wookiees and whatever. Yeah.
So he was one of the first man doing that as well. But he was also still doing like drum and bass or jungle them times. So he used to go and rinse. So I used to be like, yeah, let's do a tape when I used to see him. And that's how we started, because before the whole link up, I used to just meet up with Double, and we used to go around people's yards and record.
That was a thing. That was
bedroom tape.
Yeah, that was a definite thing that people would do.
Do you know what I mean?
That was a standard. Like, someone had decks in their yard, you're all going around there and you're recording a tape.
That's it. And that's 100%. What happened. So I had my regular dons, but then I started linking Double, and then I was going now to a few older guys' yards, and we started. Double was driving them times they had the old school Golf, like, you get me?
That's so like the pirate radio circuit, but even below that,
the bedroom.
You're working your way up the bedroom tape circuit.
It was mad.
And you had the community centre circuit
as
well.
Me, yeah, right.
There was best stuff for people to do back then.
We used to do sets in like a church club, like a little church hall.
Yeah, like anything, any which way you could string up a pair of decks and some speakers.
That's it. But those were the days for us, and that's what molded it, because me and Double used to go around to bare different houses. We linked Kano on that circuit.
Yeah.
Like, when we used to go one guy called Ginger's yard in East Ham, and he had a couple MCs, Kano and Clarky. You know what I mean? We used to go to the next guy called DJ Petchy's yard, and Monkey and Ali were there. And like, you know what I mean? It was just mad. But Monkey and Ali were Double's brethren anyway.
Yeah, that was M-A-D.
You know what I mean? But it's weird because they didn't actually have the name fully at that point.
Yeah.
But then I think while Nasty Crew was started building, MAD started doing, because radio started kicking in more now at this point. More people were doing more radio sets than what we were on. A lot more people started doing as well. MAD was on it. You had then Double had another crew, 187, which was Jammer, Leon B, Ebony J, Hyper. But obviously by that point now, Nasty Crew was building. We'd also brought in Armour at that point. And I kept saying to Double, join Nasty, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, he used to come on radio with us a couple times, but he wasn't officially Nasty Crew. He was still 187, and MAD were his affiliates or associates or whatever. But in the end, like, it was just after Marcus had gone away for a bit, and
Mac
got involved, and then Double was like, yo, what, can I still join? But if I join, I'm gonna bring Hyper. I was like, yeah, Hyper's sick, man. You man can join, definitely. And then we kept it going. Obviously, I was still communicating with Marcus from where he was.
Yeah,
everything was building still. Do you know what I mean? And Jammer got involved in the production side as well, and then where Jammer had certain connections as well. Obviously, he helped it to get to next levels as well, and helped us to have the production and have songs behind us now, not just bars and sets. Do you know what I mean?
Why do you think Nasty Crew didn't go as far as Roll Deep did?
Yeah, that's a good question still, and I think it depends how you look at it as well, because if you look at the individuals that were part of Nasty Crew and the individuals that were part of Roll Deep, and you look at where we are today, and you take Wiley out the equation, then
can't take Wiley out of the equation.
Nah, just for a second. If you took Wiley out the equation,
all right,
everyone has done a lot of bits in different ways. Yeah. Now, let's look at Dizzy Rascal, before Nasty Crew, before Roll Deep, he was definitely considered as a Nasty Crew, but without the title, because he was with us everywhere doing sets. He made our first dub plate. Yeah, I've got about 4 or 5 tunes.
Mac was
with Dizzy.
Playing all of his beats.
Do you know what I mean? I made about 4 or 5 tunes with Dizzy before anyone in Roll Deep made a song with him. Do you know what I mean? So technically, their man's awareness of Dizzy came through us. So I look at Dizzy technically as Nasty Crew in a weird way as well. Yeah. So really, all right, cool. Roll Deep got #1s and had an album. So yeah, they definitely
Why
got further.
did we never get a Nasty Crew album?
Because by that time, it was a bit late. By the time people started making proper music and songs and looking at albums and all that stuff properly, Nasty Crew had already started dividing. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, the people that were part of it, from your Getses to DWEs to Kanos to Stormin to Sharky Major,
Talent pool was wild.
There's stuff that we done and are doing now, like, do you know what I mean, that we can definitely be proud of. And I feel like, yeah, Nasty Crew, Roll Deep went further in terms of being able to get into the charts and put out albums, but I think Nasty Crew's longevity, the things that we've done as individuals, will last for a lot longer, in my opinion, than some of the things apart from what Wiley has done. Because what Wiley's done is phenomenal, obviously, and obviously there's no disrespect to Wiley, but I'm just saying overall, I respect Roll Deep, and every single one of them have been not every one of them, but a lot of them have been part of and influential in the growth of Grime Originals. So it's not disrespecting, but I do think what Nasty Crew has done individually as well is definitely something that no one can say is a
I think one of the things that I noticed as someone who was just a listener from the outside, as like a fan of the music, was like Roll Deep had a sound in it. There was a Roll Deep sound. There's a collectiveness to, like, the productions were very all kind of similar-ish, you know what I mean? Because they're all coming out of the same studio a lot of the times, or maybe using similar plugins, and you know the rhyming style was very similar as well. But when you look at Nasty Crew, everyone was different in Nasty Crew.
Yeah, man. We weren't trying to, like,
not even weren't trying to. It was just like, okay, well, Hyper's from over here, and Armour's there. And like Stormin's doing this skippy flow thing that no one's really heard before, and like Sharky's doing this mad lyrical technical stuff that no one's doing really yet either. And then we've got these new guys like DWE's coming through as well, and he's got a whole next thing as well. And like everyone was so unique. I think that's why the Nasty Crew sets were always so exciting to listen to.
That's it, man. And I think I acknowledge that from early, that if we're going to bring people in and grow and do our thing, and even Marcus as well, we had this convo from early, like when we looked at bringing in Armour, for example, it was me and Stormin, and then Armour had that bashment-y style, like the Yardman style, you get me? And it weren't like what me and Stormin was on. We was Cockney East London style, you know what I mean? And especially back in the day on the Flavour FM in Canning Town, like it was definitely Cockney East London all day, mate.
Yeah.
All right, geez, you know what I mean? But then,
which is ironic because that's how Armour talks.
Yeah, it's funny when he's ready, you get me?
Yeah.
But Armour now, his pattern was the Yardman thing, and we was like, that's different, we like that, let's have something different.
How old was Armour then?
Because he's younger than man. He must have been about 13,
how did he have
14?
that voice? He had
a
voice that made him sound like a 30-year-old man. Much bass.
The big timer. You get me?
Mad. Yeah.
Mad. But yeah, back then he used to smoke a lot, I guess. I hope you don't mind me saying that. But I think that influenced the deep tone, you get me?
Diaphragm control.
Yeah, it was deep.
Core
it was from
strength.
The chest.
Yeah.
But,
and then, speaking of chess, you got Hitman Hyper, who's crazy.
Yeah, man. Everyone's thing was different. And that's what made us so special and unique. We all were from different parts of London, still east, but different parts, had different friends. And I think in some ways that could be what the downfall was as well. We weren't close enough. That's what I was going to
ask, because everything's, it's all east-ish. It's all kind of Stratford-y, Plaistow-y, Newham-y.
Yeah.
But like
Tower Hamlets borders.
Yeah. It was spread.
Yeah.
And it was like an all-star team rather than a family of people.
Yeah. And I think that's what Roll Deep was more. They were all from the same estates and neighborhoods and knew each other's from school days and knew each other on personal names and each other's family. Whereas us lot, like I said, I went to the same school as Double. Like, I met him outside in the street. I was like, yeah, man, remember me from school? Like, do you know what I mean? And yeah, you got bars in it, I got bars. Look, let's do a tape. All right, cool. Like, and that's how we kind of clicked to start with, rolling around and doing shows and sets on people's rooms and making CDs and tapes before, later on the CDs, but tapes. You get what I'm saying? And
yeah, of course.
Hyper was connected to Double, and then I built a good friendship with Hyper. Thing is, we all like each other and got along well. Do you know what I mean? We obviously got to points where we had disagreements or whatever, as you do in groups and collectives, but no, I think we've all still got a lot of respect for each other, even now as grown men. Obviously, we went through a little time where everyone just was focused on their own thing. Do you know what I mean? After the whole divide. And even now with Roll Deep, even though they're all from the same hood and whatever else, I don't think they're like one family. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's still got their differences or whatever. They just know each other for longer. Do you know what I mean? And that's the truth.
It's got stronger roots initially, but like you said, man, when you grow up as an adult, you look back on those things that you did when you were a teenager, and it might not have been as smooth, but you value it more. Do you know what I mean? Like you look back at it, especially, you know, as we mentioned, like Stormin no longer with us, and you're always gonna look back on those memories and hold them to your heart, and everyone shares that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah, so then kind of Nasty Crew fractured, and we didn't really hear from you for a while. I know you did a mixtape. Yeah,
so I think 2006ish.
Yeah,
I went a bit quiet. I went missing, and then I went.
When did you do like Shark Attack and that? When was that?
That was 2009.
Yeah,
we put out Major League in 2010. Big up Logan at the Records.
Them in my lockup somewhere.
Come on. See, this is what people don't know. Like Logan helped me put that CD out 2010.
That
HMV, you know.
Yeah, that was unfortunately
HMV, you know.
Unfortunately, the worst time.
HMV.
That was the worst time, unfortunately, to put out mixtapes, because HMV were shutting the doors.
I know, man. Snuck it in there. Last knockings.
It happened though. It came out,
and it's still an accomplishment. Even though, like, obviously the things I know now about music and the game, I wish I knew in 2010. Obviously, because
I would have just put all my money in Apple and Spotify shares.
You know what I'm saying?
Been laughing. We'd have been recording this podcast in a TV studio.
Come on, but it's mad because that project was sick. It had some sick features.
There's so much music that's lost and missing because we were. I'm thinking about it because we're just talking about pirate radio and bedroom sets and stuff, and a lot of the time we're playing records that come out on vinyl and what have you, and you can't get any of them on digital. None of them exist, especially the B-sides. So everyone's playing wonky vinyl rips of those. Yeah. Then you've got all these tunes that people are making that have never come out as well. Like none of them old vocals that you've made with Dizzy are available for anyone to buy. Yeah.
Them only I Love You remix. That's it.
Yeah. Them old Dizzy instrumentals, a lot of those Jammer instrumentals before he found them after going through the basement again. That was literally like a couple of years ago, and did like Jammer dubs, I think it is. He released a bunch of those on instrumental like last year. Couldn't get any of that. And then when we started making mixtapes as well, like we pressed the CD, got it in HMV, sick. It's in HMV, like you can walk in and you can see my face on a CD in HMV. It's a massive achievement, but none of that music's on iTunes. Definitely not on Spotify.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's not. It's kind of lost. It's like people might stumble across a YouTube rip.
It's true. It's funny because I had a DJ message me the other day, and he sent me an old school set, and he was like, "What tune is this?" Do you know what I mean? And just shows that there's so much music out there that people still don't know what they are or how to get hold of them. So it's like, that's kind of why Grime Originals is such a good thing again as well. Sorry to bring it back to that, but
please do.
The reason I say that is because it allows people to experience that original vibe, what we came up in and what grew the thing. And A, that's if you weren't about back then, and B, if you was about back then, it gives you a chance to relive that experience again. And then obviously you got the new gens involved as well, but you're gonna hear so much of the old beats that you might not have heard for years, or you don't know how to get hold of them.
I always try and make that effort when I'm playing as well at Grime Originals.
I notice, and I respect it, bro, and I appreciate that.
I try and pull out them ones that I used to get excited about on pirate radio. Some of them hold up, some of them don't. But that's part of the fun and the games. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man.
Can't just be the same 4 tunes.
But not everyone can do that, though. That's what I'm saying. That's why, like, obviously, I try and select a lineup for Grime Originals that A is gonna help me to sell tickets, and B, the fact the fans are gonna enjoy, and C, the people that are playing understand and realize what this is about. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm not saying that, like, we love brand new songs, and I expect to hear some of the current tunes as well at Grime Originals, but you gotta understand the history. That's why people like yourself get to play, or Mac 10 gets to play, or Spooky, or Rude Kid, or you know what I mean? Like, these sort of people target, like, I can name a lot more, but do you know what I mean? The point is, you guys play because I recognize that's what you've been doing for a minute. You know what I mean? Big up Big Mikey as well. He's done a Grime Originals as well. You know what I mean? All the Midlands dons. We're gonna try and get Grime Originals out in the Midlands and up in Manchester and them sort of ends as well for at some point this year, next year as well. We got like a few festivals. Obviously Croatia, I'll tap the Croatia gang. Outlook Festival, that's gonna be sick. Transmission Festival, Crystal Palace, September as well. It's gonna be sick. We got Studio 338, the Rinse FM all day and night thing.
And there's a Grime Originals takeover on that.
Yeah,
set?
we got like a Grime Originals collective
Showcase.
set. Yeah,
that's a cool thing, man, because you can scale it up. You can do a Fabric 3-room takeover, or you can do a Grime Originals set on a boat party somewhere.
That's it. And that's the thing. That's what I wanted to make sure, that the brand isn't just an event that people have to wait 3-4 months for, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we're putting out singles and releases. We're working on albums, projects. We're putting out different sets you can get at different festivals. Like when we did One Dance Festival last year, we never had a Grime Original stage. We just had it on the main stage. We had a Grime Original set. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This year, fair enough, we've got our own stage on Transmission and at Croatia.
I mean, we slightly did that. What was that? What was that rave that we did? The festival that we did? Me, you, and Stormin. Was that Garage Nation?
Yeah, that was. Like
I think
3 years
ago.
before, innit?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
because Grime Originals you hadn't done any events yet.
I don't even think it existed at that point.
No, it hadn't. It hadn't. So that's like 2.5 years ago. Coming up on 3 years because it's festival season now. Yeah, man.
It's mad, innit? How things just fly. Do you know what I mean? I remember.
It's such a good example of just getting on and doing it.
Yeah, man. That's my thing. I'm all for that.
It might not be exactly how you want it to be. Do you know what I mean? But start it and it can grow.
That's it, man. Nobody told me this saying, but I thought of it and then I realized that it's already a saying.
Yeah.
But basically, you just got to plant as many seeds as you can, and some of them will grow, innit?
Cool.
So it's like, all right, in a different way, you can say you can have a lot of plates spinning, and you might drop a couple, but overall, as long as you keep the plates spinning, you're gonna do well, innit? So with Grime Originals, or with what I'm on, Major Music Entertainment, Grime Originals events, merchandise, artist management, events, you know what I mean? Music releases, everything. We're just working, and we're growing and building and keeping the scene moving.
So you're working with I know you're working with some younger artists. You've got Tommy B and Talifa. Like, who else have you got like within the camp?
Yeah, I got K9.
So he's doing like a more of a rap thing as well.
Yeah, he's rap and grime. Like he went on Spiral's set and did the Sounds of the Verse. Killed it over a Bigger Man beat. Bigger Man is a producer, part of Major Music as well. We got King Ra, we got Black Steve. Yeah, man. So we got people there like as the main members, but then we also got a lot of associates and people we work with as well, who get involved and collaborate as well with us, like people like Fuming and Myth, Chronic, couple people that have done stuff with Major Music. Then there's Grime Originals label that is putting out stuff as well.
You guys were all in the studio a couple of weeks back, putting together something.
What was that for Grime Originals?
Yeah, was it with Rinse?
Yeah, so basically we've got, all right, so now you got the exclusive announcement. He knew what he was doing, you know, he's teeing up the thing I like Logan, you know, it's my guy. Safe. So boom, we're working on a Grime Originals album project. I don't even wanna call
Project.
yeah, you can call it a project rather
It's
than
a
an album.
project.
You know what I mean? Because and it's gonna feature a few artists that have been involved with Grime Originals at the events, and some of the original dons,
Young and old.
Then you got some of the fresher dons
Yeah.
as well, and some of the mid-gen. Do you know what I mean? Involved. So you know what I mean. I don't want to use that term though too often. Mid-gen. We're just artists. We're
grime
just
dons,
involved in
innit?
it.
Like-
Like yeah. The only reason I use new gen is
Do you know what
because
I
we
like
had
about
to
the
show
name
people.
Grime Originals?
Mm.
What I like about the name Grime Originals is it can, and it did at the start, refer to that throwback retro kind of thing, because that's what you were trying to provide. Like you'd seen that it's headline shows, or it's like you said, what Eskimo started doing when they were trying to upsize and upscale, which is bring in artists from different areas that may be not relevant to grime anymore. And you kind of brought it back to the roots of it.
Yeah.
And that definitely worked at the start. But Grime Originals doesn't have to just mean them dusty old dons that were there 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like you
It's
can't.
the original format, the original setting that now.
It's just
That's
it
what
just sounds
stands
like
for.
authentic to me. Like this is, I'm gonna go there and you're gonna get grime. And rather than go, oh yeah, Grime Originals, but we're also gonna do this. You've got like garage originals and funky originals now as well. So you're diversifying the brand, which at the moment it's a room 2 and a room 3 thing. But I know you've done. If you've done a funky originals rave yet?
We had like a small thing, like a free thing in Box Park.
Yeah.
But it was like more of a downscale. It wasn't really promoted a big thing, but we're gonna like be putting on different events under that brand.
Yeah, because I
That's the
think
plan,
that
you know what I mean?
I think funky is a woefully undervalued sound that was created out of the same melting pot, out of the same stew pot.
Yeah, it's true.
And it came and it was sort of like dashed away way too quickly, and a lot of that music had so much impact on people. Like
Definitely,
they loved it.
The
So
vibe was crazy. Like if you was about when funky was growing and doing his thing, it was mad. Go to the raves.
it was definitely
It
mad.
was sick.
So same way that now there's room for grime originals, you can go there with the funky originals. The garage thing is kind of looked after already. There's enough
innit?
people
Yeah,
that are doing that.
It's there.
But
we
like
dabbled with garage originals, and we still might deal with that.
it works on a room 3, room 2 thing as well,
yeah.
or a set or whatever. But yeah, like when I saw you start doing like messing with the funky originals thing, I was like, yeah, I like that a lot, because there's a lot of that history and culture that people had enjoyable times.
That's
but
it. Big up people like Marcus Nasty, Pioneer, Super D,
come on,
Kismet, flipping, it's mad. Bear, the rest of them, AB, Bear Man involved in that side that have a big up still, because like they've helped in, especially like when we've done the ones in Fire and that in the other room. Like Bear people come back to me saying, room 2, like the funky room was sick,
That's what
like,
you want, man.
I'm not. Some man has said I'm staying there all night. I'm like, what? So you're not coming to see what we're on in the main room? Like, do you care who might show up or anything? No, I don't care,
having
bro.
a good time.
I'm just gonna go in there. Yeah, that's my thing. Like, I mean, so it's funny, but
That's a success.
it's good. That's good.
But yeah, in the same way, you got the Grime Originals brand has now grown into, it's just an authentic grime thing. So you're representing 4 people that are doing authentic grime, and that does include jams. It does include, PK and the YGG dons. It does
Capo
include
leading them, man.
Capo. It does include those guys that are not teenagers like a Yizzy or a Tommy B.
Yeah.
They're in their 20s, but they've been repping, and they're in that middle level. Yeah, let's not say mid-gen again.
Yeah, you get me? It's not. It doesn't sound right.
Them man are real grime originals, bro. They
That's
might
what I'm
not have
saying.
been there from the day.
Put it this way: once you've got more than 8 years plus under your belt, like,
Bro, you're the old man.
you get
Imagine if we'd have been on Pirate on Rinse and Deja in 2003 and said, like, in 8 years you're gonna be doing this still. You'd think.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, boy, if I ain't blown by then,
Mad.
I'm done. Like, if you know what
I'm
I
not
mean?
spitting when I'm 30, bro.
Yeah, well, when we was youth, man, when I was 15, 16, I don't think I would have ever envisioned myself doing this at 30 plus. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And luckily, like I said, I started
We're staring down the barrel of 40 now as well.
See what I'm saying? I started this so young. I haven't even hit my 35th birthday yet. Just so you know, Promise you, bro.
A lie you tell.
But later this month, though, by the time this comes out, I might be 35.
Bro, this is coming out within days.
So I'm still 34, yeah? Just so you know, for the record.
Get your birthday
Sharky Major's the youngest
Sharky
general
Major.
in the whole game, yeah? 34. I've been doing this thing as a general since 16. Done now. Bad man. Bap.
So do you actually have any time to do anything else other than work? Because you're doing the day job, you're running a label, you're running several events for several different sounds, talent management. What else do you do? You got kids as well.
Yep. Got 11-year-old daughter.
Oh my word. You got no time.
She writes bars now as well.
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah, she showed me. Imagine this. I had my daughter and she's gone. I said to her, "Oh, what? You started making music yet?" And she's gone to me. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I'm gonna do it. I said, "All right, when you're ready, let me know, and I'll help you." Then she's come back to me about 2 weeks later, and then she's gone, "Yeah, Daddy, I've written something now." I was like, "Really?" Showed me her bar. I said, "Have you got a beat for it?" She's like, "Yeah." She showed me the beat first, and she found it on YouTube. I don't even know who the producer is, but the beat is hard. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, "Rah!" So like, my daughter first found the beat, what was hard. Then she wrote the bars, and on top of that, the bars even says that Sharky Major's her dad.
Yeah.
Imagine that bad man thing already. 11 years old, so even though she's a girl, still a bad man thing. But yeah, my daughter's hard, man. She's sick at writing already at 11 years old, and she likes grime. She wears Grime Originals clothing.
Yeah.
Like, she plays football, supports my same team as me.
Which one's that?
Man United.
Oh,
Yeah,
condolences.
You wanted to say that. I'm like, yeah, I get
Sorry.
you. It's your show, innit? I let that slide. But yeah, man, through the thick and the thin, you know what I mean? I saw your tweet. We're just like the rest of them now, innit? Like your team, like West Ham. We're just as good as West Ham now, innit? We're washed.
Nah,
but we're coming back. We're
Ham.
coming back still, man. Ollie's behind the wheel. It crashed, but yeah, we get it back on track, hopefully, man.
Oh, football's mad as well, bruv. The amount of money in that is crazy. Like, you think we look at how the game's changed for music and where we've come from, and how you're seeing like Dave's having #1 albums, Stormzy's #1 singles back to back.
Yep.
Weeks, AJ Tracy #3 album, Skepta's about to drop. That's gonna be a mad thing.
Yep.
P Money's doing really well with his stuff. Gets his album last year done mad as well, but bruv, man out on the bench getting $500,000 a week.
The money is
and
crazy.
Women's football is growing as well.
That's good, because by the time my daughter's 16 to 18,
She needs to. Yeah, you need to get her in them.
Man.
Like on,
She plays still.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah, she's like, she does it every Saturday. She's alright. She's alright, man. So I mean, she's alright. But yeah, gonna have to show her a bit of techers, even though man's got the size on me now, but I still got the touch.
You've always had the size on you.
I got the
to
touch.
be fair.
For real. When I say that, I meant like, even though man's got the size, full stop,
Yeah.
or comma, yeah, flipping.
The quick feet are there.
Man's got the tech. You get me? Like, I'm like Gascoigne, no pace, but bare tricks.
Oh my God! What did I see the
Techers,
other
get
day?
me?
Did you see the Ian Wright videos that he's doing with MCs?
Oh mate, put me on that. Yeah,
Man, I got first touches that look like back passes, bruv. It's crazy.
I saw a first touch and then he went to the corner flag. Like, I was like, rah, like, he was like,
it's Heady one.
Heady one. Oh my days, yeah, man. But like, yeah, man. Even though man's got the size, the touch is there, the finish, the passing, the vision. Get me? It's just the
midfield
pace,
general.
The pace ain't
Come
there.
on.
Like a Skolzy, you get me?
Just play around the centre circle, spraying the ball around. Distribute the ball, distribute the
start up a grime league, innit? Like, start up a little grime five-a-side league.
No one's serious on that. Hold tight Max, though. Maximum plays all the time.
He's been playing for years, innit?
Yeah, I always see Maximum in goal, down at goals.
Always.
Late night, doing stuff.
Dedicated.
So are you into anything else other than
to be
grime?
honest, I've kind of what I like.
Yeah, like, do you have any interest?
Yeah.
Not even just music, anything at all?
Well, right now, it's just purely work mode. So, like, my focus is just work, day shift, work, night shift, work mentally.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't really freeing up time for nothing else. It's like, I'm in that mode right now where, in a weird way, I feel like in some aspects I'm playing catch up to where I should be. Yeah. But I think a lot of people feel like that, I should have been here by now, or whatever. But
I feel like that a lot.
You know what I mean? But I just feel like, I know what my abilities are, what I'm capable of achieving if I do certain things right. So, like, all the chilling out and resting can happen later on. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I can do this now.
I feel like that's dangerous though, man. Do you know what I mean? Like all of that work.
Yeah.
You know, I've definitely been told that you've fallen asleep in the studio and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
You've fallen asleep in my car on the way back from things.
Yeah.
But and even then, like you're getting up early to go work the next day.
Yeah, fam. It's mad.
And then at the weekend you got shows and like I'll see it at Grime Originals, but then the next week there's a next show. Like you had some South African house thing you were talking to me about the other day. It's like
yeah.
bits and pieces.
Yeah, man's just working.
Your well-being, man.
It's
you got to look after yourself, bro.
Nah, don't worry about that. I'm good.
Good.
I'm nice.
All right.
I'm nice.
All right.
Nice.
I'm glad to hear.
Take my multivitamins. You get me? Come on, cod liver oil and them thing there. You know what I mean? Nah, but you're right though. Obviously, like I said, I've been head down working hard for like the last 2.5 years, like consistently, and I'm at the point now where I can kind of free up a bit more time. And like at one point, I was in the studio 6 days a week after work.
Mad.
Now I've reduced that to like 3 days a week after work. Do you know what I mean? But then when certain projects come up, like the rinse thing or certain other things, and all of a sudden I've now increased what I'm on again.
I feel like when you're working on something that you're passionate about as well, like it's not as draining. You're not forcing it. Do you know what I mean? You're
That's what it is,
enthusiastic about it. You want to get it.
I just feel
done.
like this is what I want to do anyway.
Yeah.
So like right now, if I'm in the studio and I'm doing a session, if I wasn't in the studio, I'd just be at my yard sitting down, chilling, watching a TV show or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll probably end up sleeping because I ain't on nothing else.
That's
You know what I mean?
yeah. Sleeping's at a premium anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't rate sleep, you know, bro. Obviously you need it, but yeah, as long as you get your minimum 5 hours in or whatever, that's for me. I'm 5 hours done. Like 4 or 5 hours, I'm good with that for now. But yeah, overall, obviously, over time, I'm gonna free up more time and be able to pattern up. And if this thing works right, I won't have to do the day job. You know what I mean? But man purely has to can't rely just on this thing to pay my bills, innit?
Yeah.
My
So
bills
that's
are
something I
serious.
want to ask as well. It's something that I've asked a few people. Shout out to Rude Kids because we thought it up on our podcast that we did. And I don't know if this will even apply to you, but I like to ask my guests if they have any good stories or like what their funniest memory is, the craziest thing they did when they were broke for grime. Has Sharky Major ever been broke for grime?
I've definitely been broke for grime, especially in the early stages first, when I was a youth man trying to get about doing this thing. But I think at that point, I was bumping trains and I was bumping cabs and all of that to do radio and do certain things, you know what I mean, as a youth man. And then I got a bit older and I started, like, obviously after catching a couple cases doing dumb stuff on road and all that, I was like, you know what, I need to work. Like, let me go and do work. That will hopefully help me fund my music. Do you know what I mean? So that's when I started working, and I started thinking to myself as well, if I do have a day job, it will help me to get certain legitimate things that I can't get in.
There's a lot of stigma around having a day job and doing music, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where like you kind of feel like people look at it like you've not failed, but like you're not winning.
Mate, I can't lie,
It's like a weird mentality that people have. Like everything should be easy. Trying hard is not cool. Like work, everything should come to you easily because you're so nang that you don't have to try hard.
Mad.
And it's bullshit.
I can go in my DMs right now, yeah?
Yeah.
I might do it, but I won't show you or for the camera the name. But if I show you my DM right now, I can show you that I've got like a follower who supports the movement, respects it, does a lot, like cares a lot about Grime Originals, buys the merch, everything.
Yeah.
But then when she found out I had a day job, she's like, "You've got a day job?" No, I can't believe it. This is all in writing, but the way she's wording it, I could just hear her voice. Like, I can't believe it. You're not meant to be working. Like, legends don't work. Like, she was upset that I've got a day job, fam.
Bro,
like,
not everyone supports like she does. If they did, then we wouldn't need a day job.
You see what I'm saying? And that's the truth. But the way I upset her was, I just thought, wow, like, people really think that this thing can be the only way you earn.
Bro, people live on Instagram, innit, and social media, and they're just putting out the image of winning all the time and everything being successful, everything going your way, partying, you know, buying whatever you want and not worrying about the price of it and whatever. And
some people don't know what it takes to get to that successful point.
I think they know, but like they just think it doesn't apply to people that they see from afar. Do you know what I mean? Like they see Grime Originals, it's super relevant. It has been super successful, and they just assume like, because I remember this when I was on Kiss. People assumed that I was getting racks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I get £50 a show. They're like, what? What do you mean? It's Kiss.
Kiss, like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like that, and you know, it's good in a way because it means people hold you in such high regard. They feel like, you know, you are a top person, and top people shouldn't have to go and work for someone else.
Yeah.
And if you are going to work for someone else, you're going to earn big P's from it. But in reality, you work for someone else for little P's sometimes. You work for yourself. It's a massive risk. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit of both. And when you got mouths to feed and bills to pay and certain lifestyles to upkeep, do you know what I mean? You're either going to do road or you're going to go legit. Do you know what I mean? And if you're going legit, you need consistency with that income. And if you ain't got that consistency, you're effed. So, yeah. That's what happened. So for me, years back, it was like after messing about, doing dumb stuff on road and all that stuff and not having P's, I had to then work to fund my music. Then I ended up in a relationship with my daughter, got involved and all this stuff happened, and I went into family man mode for a few years. And then I came back in again 2010. Then I went missing again 2013. Then I come back again 2016. And then from 2016 to now, I'm here again. So like I had about, in total, out of, say, from 2000 to now, I probably had lost about 4 to 5 years out of the game. But I've been involved behind the scenes as well in some aspects, like even when you didn't see me frontline. Because major music, this is the second spell I've had of major music. I had major music back in 2010 when I was managing artists like Rival and a few other people. We put out Lord Rive CD and all of that.
So, if we look at where Grime's at now in 2019, because you said you come back in 2016. 2016 was a wicked time in Grime. It's probably one of the best times in terms of the scene doing well since maybe like 03, I reckon.
Yeah.
You know, you had German Whip in 2014, and then Jamie and Skepta dropped, and Kano dropped some singles, and 2016 everyone's just benefiting off the back of that. Stormzy's got an album coming, and everyone's flying. Now 3 years down the line, like things are slowing up a little bit. The releases are not coming as regularly as well, and a lot of other things are doing really well. And it very much reminds me of like that time when Funky was about. And you had MCs coming through in Funky and people getting on them tunes, and you're looking at it like, okay, well, everyone's having a great time over there and we're still just going on with our thing over here.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that a lot, but at a much bigger scale.
Yeah, because the guys that are closest to our sound but are charting aren't actually charting with our sound right now.
Yeah.
So like, for example, someone like a Stormzy who, when I say our sound, I'm talking about grime, yeah?
Specifically grime, yeah.
Someone like a Stormzy, obviously he's done tunes like Shut Your Mouth and Big For Your Boots, and those were his grime bangers, innit? Yeah. But Vossi Bop, 2 weeks at #1, is a rap song, innit?
Yeah.
So, it's like, hold on, who's that? Yeah. Yeah, Vossi Bop, 2 weeks at #1, as a rap tune.
Yeah.
But Stormzy's still considered as a grime artist.
There's a lot of people that are called grime artists that have never released a grime tune in their life as well.
Yeah, and at least Stormzy has. Do you know what I mean? But there's some man that happily take that title when they want to, and then afterwards, nah, man's not grime when they want to as well. So there's that as well.
It's a complicated one, man, because like I feel like when someone like Jay Huss gets called grime, and he's effectively come through with and pioneered a sound. Really, like he's like really one of the people that bust that sound. Whatever you want to call it, Afro swing, Afro bashment, whatever you want to call that sound. Like he's definitely like one of the fathers of that. And even when they were calling like people like Giggs and Krept and Conan grime, when what they are is like authentic British hip hop, rap, you're not giving the credit to them scenes, I think.
It's
and
true.
As much as, you know, when you're in the grime scene, you can kind of look at like, oh, you know, they're accepting the grime title and whatever. I also feel the other way, that their scenes are not getting the due credit that they deserve. And it kind of would help with a lot of the confusion, because like grime is this thing here that is very specific. It's like niche, innit, really. Like it has scope to be wider and lots of people love it, and it went round the UK and it was massive. But really, it's like, it's still a niche sound. Whereas a lot of the stuff that is in the charts is a lot more commercial sounding. It's a lot more melodic, or, you know, using auto-tune, or like marimbas, or like pads and melodies and slower tempo. So it's just easier to bop your head to. A lot of it's like way more commercial. And I feel like there's a lot of listeners out there, and I see them when they would come to Eskimo Dance. They'd think that they love grime, but this thing that they love is, it's really just British black music more than just grime.
That's true. That's true, man. I think you hit the nail on the head there, bro, to be fair, man. Do you know what I mean? I don't even think I can add to that point. I just think everything you're saying there is true. I feel like a lot of the people that don't do grime but are called grime should stand up and say, no, this is not grime.
But then they get like, it's negative as well. Like when you say no, I had this because I had a real problem with how I express myself. You've known me for a very long time, and I have no ill intent, but my delivery is often very matter of fact and to the point, so it can seem rude. And when I'd say that's not a grime tune, even though the words I'm saying are that's not a grime tune, it sounds like that tune's shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not grime.
Yeah.
They're not good, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
When really it's like, to not give Giggs the due respect that he deserves for basically raising up British rap. Not like that hip hop style, but like rap. Road rap was what it was called at the time when it bust through, and SM1 are all over the place, and mixtapes and stuff. Like, to not give it its due credit, I feel, is unfair as well as detrimental to grime. And even now you've got drill, which is, to the average person, how are they even going to know what the difference is? Do you know what I mean?
No, it's true. It's funny because
drill's bare similar to grime.
A guy was driving down the road and I was thinking, what's that grime tune he's playing like? I was not bopping my head, you get me, thinking that sounds sick. And as he got closer, it was drill.
Yeah.
But at first, from afar,
when
like
all you
grime.
hear is the sub, and it's a sliding bass as well. So for me, a lot of that drill production really reminds me of Crazy Bandit from back in the day.
It's mad.
But yeah, that's its own thing, and they have their own culture. A lot of them kids haven't even grown up on grime at all. A lot of them don't know anything about grime or listen to grime. They're not influenced by grime, but their music sounds really superficially similar because it's 70 BPM, not 140. And they're using road slang, and they're all wearing tracksuits and Stone Island. And like, if your name's Dave or Sharon from the middle of England and you see that, then everything's the same.
Yeah, man. It's true. And it's sad because some people will tarnish another man's thing with something else. Yeah. Whether it's a good or bad thing sometimes.
Yeah, like everything's a grime MC when it's in the news for getting, like, doing a fuckery or getting arrested or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. When a bad thing happens, it's grime. Something good happens, it's not so much grime. Or when something good happens, someone that's not grime will accept it, and when something bad happens, they don't want to accept it.
Top 20 grime tunes of the year and all that nonsense.
Yeah, like, you know
I think people are starting to educate themselves a little bit more as well, because this conversation comes up more and more and more. But it's definitely a problem. It's definitely a problem. Like, but people don't care about educating themselves, man. Like,
yeah, man.
They just follow memes and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Or what's in front of their faces.
I think people sometimes should just say what it is, man. It's like, this is rap, this is grime. It's not a biggie. We all rate each other's things. It's like, right now, I'm sitting on a few rap songs, and when I put it out, I'm going to tell people, I got a new rap thing out. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not a biggie. Like, just some people shouldn't even have to say this is rap. You hear it and know it's rap. But when you got the person that don't know any different,
exactly.
It's good to make it clear to them so that it's categorized in the right way. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. And like you're even working with people that are experimenting and doing different stuff, or mainly operating in, like you said, you've got K9 who's working in both places, and it's not a thing of I'm gonna try this. It's just like this is just what you do.
This is it. I think now the modern day artists, the good ones, know how to fuck with more than one sound or genre. Don't get me wrong, you're gonna have your specialist field or area that you know that's what you do. But then, you know, right now if you go on Instagram, you're seeing Wiley, and he's showing people that he's still got a whole range of different styles and patterns. If he wanted to give it to them, he can. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, his biggest tune in a long while, Boasties.
Right.
Like
do you know what I mean?
Jump up dancehall tune.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? And just shows that you don't have to. There's one thing saying that I'm grime and I do grime and but then there's the other side of it, which is you're an artist. You can express and experiment.
But you're not owned by Grime Records.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
This is it.
Like you're not chained to Grime and can't ever do anything else.
Yeah, fam.
I think if you look at people's albums now as well, to be honest with you, it's always been the case. Like when Kano brought his album out, Dizzy Boy in the Corner, there's more on there than is just Grime. I don't think you can even call that a Grime album. I think to call Boy in the Corner a Grime album is doing it a disservice, because there's bare different sounds on there. But then you listen to Kano, Home Sweet Home was the first one, wasn't it? Yeah. Getting old, bruv. Getting old. That's definitely not just a Grime album, but there's Grime bangers on there. And then Come Back Now, and you know, AJ Tracy number 3 album. There's some grime tunes on. There's a garage tune on there. You know, there's all kinds of different sounds on there that are all existing in the same space. And it's not like I'm jumping on this because this is the wave, and I need to get a part of this. It's just like you said, people listen to all sorts now. Like they're actually on it. Even Skepta's got different sounds.
That's why I say that the modern day artists. You know what I mean? They don't have to be able to do that, but if you can do it, why not show people that you can do it? You know what I mean? But still, obviously, you might be known for as a rapper, just come in and then all of a sudden you're doing grime, or you're known as a grime man, and all of a sudden you're doing rap.
I hate it when you get that loaded question and it's like, oh, so do you only do grime? Like it's a bad thing, and like automatically loading it so that you're gonna say no. I can do everything. Like I just make music, and you're like, the way that they've asked you is a way in which you're like, it's like when you're with a chick. Oh, is that your girl? Yeah. No, that's not my girl. No, that's not my girl.
Man just links that in it. That's just like one thing in it.
It's like you're dissing it like you're sneak dissing it, but like they're asking you in a way that's engineered to get that response. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, what? Can you only make grime? Is that all you're able to do?
It's true.
Nah, bruv. Like, man just makes music. I hate that question, because then you get that answer.
Exactly. Man does music, innit? Like, but nah, the truth is, I would answer that, yes, I do grime, but I also can do a few other things. Do you know what I mean?
So I want to talk to you now a little bit about like the last couple of years and your relationship with Stormin, because obviously that was a very harrowing time for you personally. I don't think people there's a difference between like working with someone and being really genuinely close with someone. And I don't think people kind of realize that, like, that's how close you were to Stormin.
Yeah, man.
And having to see him and his family go through that. Because it's not just him. Obviously, you know, when someone has cancer, I've lost people in my family to cancer before. Like, they're the ones who are suffering the most, but everyone suffers.
100%, bro, man. It was a very sad time. And I know, like, earlier on I mentioned about Nasty Crew not being like as close as we could have been. Like Stormin was like probably the one person out of the whole crew that I would have talked to like almost every day over the years, but from the beginning up to the point of when he passed, you know what I mean? So when you look at it like that, obviously we went through little phases where we'd have one or two little fallings out and not talking for a few days or whatever, but as we sort it out real quick.
Normal.
Do you know what I mean? And that was my brother, man. Do you know what I mean? Every day almost we would talk.
He was such a positive guy as well. Like, even when I felt like he wasn't getting the respect that he deserved in the grime scene for everything that he'd done, maybe he wasn't able to translate kind of the skill set that he had into into making tunes that were connecting, or like what he was doing just wasn't what people were into at the time. But at no point did I ever get any bitterness from him at all. Like, he only ever showed love to like other artists. He was always excited about the music and what other people were doing. And then on top of that, took himself to another scene and bust himself clearing that scene.
Yeah.
In drum and bass. Like,
that's it, man. Big moves, man. Stormin had love for music. I've never
music.
met a person that loved music more than Stormin at the time, and up to now, I still feel like this guy's love for music was unreal. You know what I mean? Times when I had dark periods when I thought, oh, this music thing, fuck this thing, whatever. Like, Stormin never, ever had a period where he said,
heard that out of him, ever.
Fuck music. Do you know what I mean? He always was on it. And probably the most versatile artist that I've worked with and known. You know, like when you think about the different music he did put out, from grime to rap to drum and bass to bashment, dancehall, like, guy was just doing music. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, the time of him passing was quite tough to deal with. You know what I mean? Just watching your friend deteriorate.
Yeah. Especially
after having the first op and announcing that he'd beat that, and then it coming back so quick as well. Like, his body didn't even have time to really repair or heal, or you know what I mean? He didn't get much longer after the first busting the first set of cancer. It coming back so quick again. You get me? And
because he went away and did like bookings and stuff like abroad.
Yeah. So like, he'd had an operation. He'd got rid of the cancer had gone. Yeah. And then he went to Australia. Had a booking.
Because he was MCing with the scarf on and that as well, to cover up the scar and the surgery.
So it's like his dedication was second to none.
Like, you couldn't stop him.
100%. He was always going to be doing this until he dropped down.
Physically couldn't do it anymore.
That's right. Nothing was going to stop him. When you look back at little things like interviews and stuff like that of him during that time, and he was quite clear, saying to everyone that this thing ain't going to stop me from doing what I got to do and spreading my name. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, as close family and friends, we were concerned because we wanted him to just rest and stop doing so much. But he looked at it as if he stopped doing so much, it's going to kill him faster. Do you understand?
I hear that. That was the fight. Like you said, the music was the thing that he loved so much, that motivation, that energized him, I guess.
That's right. So imagine that you're sitting there thinking, I can't do music no more. For him, he's looking at like, if I can't do music, it's going to kill me. I might as well be dead. Do you know what I mean?
Mad.
So that's why he kept doing it until he couldn't no more. And yeah, man.
And even then, when he was in the hospice, man, it was like all the people that came and showed love to him, all the people whose lives he'd affected and touched with his energy, like his love that he'd spread, like for their music, you know, the work that he'd done with them. Yeah. You know, it was like a who's who of people that came down to see him, and you know, it was a real honor when I got, like, you asked me to, like, we wanted to see you. I was like, wow, that's. You know, he spoke really highly, and I was like, wow, I didn't even...
Didn't know he thought that of you.
Yeah, because I remember he asked me to come down to... this was in the Rude Kid podcast as well. He's like, he just hit me up one day. I said, oh, yeah, I'm just doing this youth club thing in Romford. Like, do you want to come... Can you come down and, like, check out some of the kids and talk to them and listen to some of their stuff? So I was like, yeah, of course, man. I don't mind at all. And that was just like a one-off thing. But I never saw him talk about that ever. And I'm sure that there was so many more things that he'd done that were positive like that, that people, that only the only people that will know about that are the ones that he did it with.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, man.
Because he was never like shouting out, I was in Nasty Crew at the start. I had the Skippy flow first. Yeah. I was this, and demand. He never demanded nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
He never shouted about all of his achievements. Even when he went off and like started doing a drum and bass thing and was mad successful, he was always humble with it as well. And like you said, that's how you know it's real love. You're not doing it just to shout off. And let everyone know what you've done. You're doing it because you love it.
That's right. Gotta respect it, man.
Definitely, man. But we move forward.
Right,
even with Stormin. Like even with Teddy Bruckshot, like, so just like, how were you talking to him when he came up with that idea? Because that was hilarious.
Yeah, man. Obviously, Stormin loved the character Teddy Bruckshot from Shotter's film. And then just as a joke, like, we used to always catch jokes and stuff and like different things. Stormin was definitely a proper comedian.
Yeah, super.
So like, we'd talk about all different kinds of films and like things from and he'd always remember the scenes, and it was like $10 million in the bank and all this, like, yo, why you follow me for? And all that, but he was doing it in a Bruckshot voice, and we used to laugh. And then one day he just was like, bruv, man's gonna fucking make an MC and do it as a Bruckshot voice. You get me? I was like, bro, he's like, yeah, but no one's gonna know it's me though. I was like, shut up. He's like, yeah, watch. And then from there, man just kept doing it, and
he kept it undercover for about 8 years, man.
Yeah, bro.
It's jokes.
There. Only people like Nasty Jack, Spyro, myself, few of the people like in the house lot knew, and then it started becoming a behind the scenes industry gossip. Like industry people knew it was Stormin, but the consumer, the fans didn't know.
No.
So it was like everyone had to keep it quiet. Then there's a few different times when people tried to expose it in different ways, and then it was just funny, just trying to like sort it out. Do you know what I mean? And get it so that people were off the scent, like they weren't sure what was going on. Send
Black Steve out there to do it a bit, or like Nasty Jack got to do it over there. And
it was mad, but it was good though. It was Stormin loved it, man. And right near the final stages, like in the last few years, Bruckshot started getting like PAs and performances and stuff.
Yeah.
So he went out like,
yes,
like
I remember
dreadlocks and like his face covered up and that, and he like did DWE show, and he did Brixton Jam before. You had a few different spots, man.
Sick.
Bruckshot, it was sick.
Got them PAs in, man. That's crazy.
Trust me, man. But yeah, big up Spyro as well, because man like Sounds of the Sir helped that Teddy Bruckshot's awareness.
Because there wasn't really a tune. Like he did the Run for Cover.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
but then that tune there really
that got signed. That went off to a different audience.
That's right.
Bare people clocked that, like started playing that in a rave, and everyone's going mad. I'm like, oh, yo, sick.
That's
wicked.
what I'm saying.
Teddy's back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting on a couple unreleased Bruckshots as well, so they might be coming real soon. You know.
Okay.
Got that first on the Logan Bruckshot.
Sick stuff, man. Thank you so much for your time, man. I know you're mad busy. I'm stealing hours out of your day.
I know, bro. After this, I gotta go home, man. I can't even do no more work.
You're melting into the
I got
chair
told
now.
off by Logan for working too hard, so I'm gonna
look
go
after
home
yourself.
After this,
This whole like sleep when you're dead thing is a myth, because you'll be dead sooner. Like, make the most of your time. Don't work to live. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't make your life that. You gotta find joy and enjoy it and take time.
Balance.
Kind of journey. It's about the journey, bro.
You know. But yeah, right now,
perfectly balanced as all things should be. You get me?
Yeah, but I'm gonna work hard for a little bit longer. But yeah, don't worry, I'm done. Balance.
Thank you very much for joining me, Sharky Major. Look out for the next Grime Originals. Follow at Grime Originals on all your good social media, and Sharky Major as well. The links will all be in the description of this video. If you are listening to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or whatever it is you're listening to, then you can find us on YouTube as well. You can watch the podcast.
Jeez.
Put up one a week. So, yeah, check it out. Give us a subscribe. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, leave us a review. It all helps. We'll be back for more. But again, thank you, Sharky. Grime Originals. We'll see you in the dance real soon. Bless.